A reputable lawyer, a qualified pilot, our guest's entrance into politics was informed by a chance meeting. He has since served in the House of Representatives before his movement to the Senate. He's a charismatic leader, and you'll meet him after this break. This is the Sunday Interview. I'm Jekeli Jadu. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Our guest today is a two-time member of the House of Representatives, is a distinguished lawyer, a qualified pilot, and Deputy Senate Leader representing Kebbi South Senatorial District, Senator Bala Ibinala. Am I right?
Yes, you are.
You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
So let me start like this. What was it like growing, in the barracks with your uncle?
Well, it was fun. I actually started my primary school with one of my uncles in Wasagu. And in class 2, I was transferred to Mahuta, which is a village close to Zulu. And then I briefly moved to Gawuna Primary School in Kano, where my cousin was a policeman.
So growing up, who were some of your influences, people that you would say, informed your choice of career, the choice of the life you have now? Who are some of the people?
When I got to secondary school, that's class 1, there used to be one of our English teachers that was called M.S. Marty. She was a lady. And surprisingly, she believed so much in me. It's like my English was, and then she was so happy with me. So I became very, very close to her. In fact, at a stage, I was almost living in her house. After school, I would come because she wasn't married, and then so we could come and discuss and look at some books and talk. So I was so close to her. But at the conclusion of my secondary school, one of my friends wanted me to go to Federal College of Education to train to be a teacher. And the idea then was that they were receiving salary at that level.
Okay.
And we were not giving salary exactly, we were only getting scholarship. So those who got persuaded by money decided that they will go to Federal College of Education. But at that time, I wanted to be a history teacher. That was all I wanted to do, to be. And somewhere along the line, the man who taught us economics, he happens to be a Ghanaian. And then one day he called me aside and said, well, from what I see of you, you will be a very good lawyer. So I will advise that you take law as a career. I didn't take it serious. But the man who taught me literature was an British, he's from India, but from Britain, Mr. George. And I was going to write an exam, and then he got to me and said, look, if you don't give me A1, I will hang you because I'm preparing you to be a lawyer. So I now said, okay, these two coincidences could mean that these people have seen that there is wisdom in becoming a lawyer. So I said, okay, I'll try to pursue the career. So actually, when I finished, I didn't have what we call subject combination, to be able to read law. So I decided that I will go back to State College of Art and Science to make up the papers, which I did. And from there, I did the IJMB, and then now came to Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and then left Zaria in 85 to Nigerian Law School in 86, and then finished from Nigerian Law School in 1986.
So mostly your teachers, you influenced,
exactly, yes.
So growing up, did you have any kind of funny nicknames people used to call you?
Why do you want to share that with me? Okay, let me tell you. In secondary school, all my mates used to call me Contababulous. And I don't know how they came about that, but they said that at times when I speak English, I try to
mix
exactly
you mix it
like with my language or something, But at that time, because I was so interested in statistics, so I try as much as I can to. And then I was a very committed fan of Wole Soyinka.
Oh, okay.
So I had the privilege of reading
most of his books.
The man died.
All right. So away from everything that you do, how do you relax?
It's very difficult to find time to enjoy yourself. But over the weekends, what I try to do is I go to Kaduna. I normally go to Kaduna, do what we call fun flying.
Okay.
Just fly some small aircrafts around and have fun with friends and the rest. Yeah. So that's how I make up my time. Otherwise, honestly, I don't have time.
Do you enjoy any kind of sports?
Yes. I am a very good player of table tennis and lawn tennis. But I can tell you that the last time I played lawn tennis was during my NYSC days.
Really? That long?
Table tennis, when I'm out of the country, at times I have a friend who I go to his house, he has table, so I try to play table tennis. But apart from that, honestly, I don't have time for any game.
So you don't even watch football? Do you watch football?
I'm very, very poor with football. but I love to read, and you can see my table, as beautiful as it is. Yes.
So say we wanted to show you with a dish, what your favorite meal be?
I happen to come from Zulu, and Zulu will have a very popular dish that every Zulu man will be too happy to tell you that if he finds that on his table, it's like you have made his day. And that will be tuwon shinkafa with what we call mzaba. Mzaba is a specially prepared soup that is likened to the native soup in Port Harcourt.
Oh, okay.
But the only difference is that maybe the color.
Okay.
And possibly the taste, because this one doesn't have some seafood inside.
Okay.
It's normally done with either like ishewu or
Ishewu, okay,
but
that kind of.
Yeah, that kind of preparation. So that's my favorite dish. The second one that I can tell you is that I love okra. And maybe because of its healthy disease, but if you do that for me, I'm done. Yes.
So what inspires you as a person? Where do you draw your inspiration from?
Well, you see, while growing up as a child, I have equally had the privilege of having the discipline, to be very religious. And in my secondary school days, I used to be a very important member. I was the secretary of the Muslim Student Society of Nigeria. And I have traveled all around this country because of that to develop what we call Islamic concept among our contemporaries. So inspirations generally arises from what I've been able to read about some great men, that existed in the Islamic history. And it helps me a lot. But the most striking of all is the fact that I have been told that no person who possesses an atom of weight of arrogance will enter paradise. So, of course, that has played a very, very important role of trying to humble me, as a person. I like to live a humble life. I love that so much, and it simplifies every aspect of my life. Yes.
That's crucial.
Yeah.
So, I would guess that you're a very adventurous person. Because it takes an adventurous person to even fly a plane in the first place.
Yeah.
So let me ask you where that part of you came from. Because a lawyer flying a plane, it's not like,
I have said it before. You see, I have 3 children. The first one decided that he will go and read his degree. And that time we were in Lagos, and he left for Manchester to go and read computer science. But the second one decided that he was going to fly and went to South Africa. So when he came back on holidays, we were sitting down, and then he told me that I just jokingly asked him that, look, I could go and fly. Well, he said, no, that you need to be extra intelligent and whatever to be able to fly. And I'm somebody who hates challenges. So I told him that, okay, having challenged me now, I'm going to read And then I went to school. I went to Zaria, finished from Zaria, went to South Africa, finished from there, then went to US and got my US license.
Can you imagine?
And decided that I will be.
You beat him to it. So that's where that came from.
Exactly. So when the second one came back and discovered that me and the first one came back, from Manchester, and discovered that myself and the second son, Abdul Hakim, are flying, he decided that he wants to go and fly. So I said, okay, fine. I don't want to limit anybody's ambition. So he too went to Phoenix Aviation in Daytona Beach, and then started flying. Then we were thinking that my daughter will go and read law. Again, she looked at us and said, okay, Dad,
everybody can fly. I should be able to fly too.
I should be able to fly. So she decided to go to Ilorin College of Aviation, and she has already finished her commercial exams as of last week. So that becomes a family issue.
It's actually a home of pilots.
Yeah, exactly. Any person with average intelligence can fly. But a lot of people don't know.
So let's talk about your law career. Tell me about the most challenging case you had as a lawyer.
Well, the most challenging case I had was I had a client who was working in Progress Bank at that time. And then the Abacha administration decided that they were going to set up what they call banks and other financial institutions tribunal. And he happens to be one of those that were to be tried in the first phase of the trial. Luckily for me, I look at his case. It looks bad on the surface of it, but legally it looks equally okay for him, in the sense that he was a Category C, what the bank will normally refer to as Category C signatory. And he was charged along with the MD of the bank and then the manager and some principal officers of the bank for conspiracy to grant credit facility.
Oh, really?
And by the rules of the bank, by virtue of his position, he could not grant credit facility.
Yeah.
I knew at the end of the day, capacity to commit an offense was a fundamental issue in criminal trial. So I waited until they finished. It was late Idris then, this senator from Gombe who died, fantastic human being. So we were appearing before Justice Augie, as she then was, as the chairman of that tribunal. After putting all the documents, I now came by what we call submission of no case. And the issue that I wanted the court to establish was whether by virtue of his position in the bank, he possesses the capacity to grant credit facility. And luckily for us, the court upheld our submission, and then he was set free. Now, it was challenging in the sense that at that time, it was practically impossible for you to go free when you are charged with that kind of offense. You know, I remember how happy the client was when we came out. He had a Honda Accord that he came with, and in his wisdom or whatever it is in his application, he decided that he was going to give me the key to the car. I said, no, but you have paid the legal fees.
So what was the most interesting case for you? That was challenging. How about interesting?
Well, I'm sure you will want me to talk about the trial of Hamza Al-Mustafa in Lagos, which I happened to be in the defense. And challenging in the sense that Hamza was unreasonably kept in detention for a very long period of time. Now, I had occasion to file motion for his bail, and I put the question to my Lord Justice Al-Abiden that, look, supposing, but without conceding, that the offense has been committed, will he have sentenced Hamza Al-Mustafa to more than 5 years? And if the answer is no, 2.5 years was half of 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. And it was then a requirement that if you are going to spend substantial part of the sentence in detention, then you are entitled to bail. And I said he should look at the cost of maintaining Hamza at the prison vis-a-vis the benefit of his continuous incarceration. But you know, all these were legal arguments that the judge didn't find convincing enough to. And then, luckily for us, even in our affidavit in support of the motion for bail, we met all the requirements of bail that were never countered by the prosecution in their counter affidavit. But because it was a political case,
yeah, exactly,
of some sort,
it kind of stalled it.
Yeah, it became stalled. But I think the most interesting challenge was the charges that were filed beautiful as they look, as at that time, the proof of evidence does not support those charges.
What would you say gives you the greatest satisfaction in life? Where do you draw the greatest satisfaction from?
Well, can I say that in one sentence?
If you can.
Doing good to people gives me satisfaction.
Perfect.
Yeah, because God has been so merciful to me. I never, by whatever stretch of imagination, imagined that I will be where I am today. So I have always considered to the fact that I have set a bar for myself, and God said that bar should be shifted to somewhere else. All I wanted was to be a history lecturer, like I told you earlier, finish from that, get a small house and stay with my wife. That's all. That's all I wanted in life. But I have never, at any time, forgotten the fact that the bar that I have set myself, I have so far exceeded it. And the exceeding that does not in any way place me in a position to begin to exhibit some arrogance that is unnecessary. So I've kept to that bar. I've told you, you can see my house. I don't close the gate. From 9 o'clock that I have gone out, until when everybody lives here, the first gate and the second, they are open. Because the Bible says only sinners run away when they are pursued by no one. Yes.
Right, very correct. Okay, we're going on a short break now. When we come back, we'll still be speaking with the Deputy Senate Leader, Senator Bala Ibinala, distinguished. Stay with us. Welcome back. We spent the last couple of minutes getting into the world of a lawyer, a qualified pilot, and Deputy Senate Leader representing Kebbi South Senatorial District, Senator Bala. So let me ask you how your journey, from your law practice into politics, how did it go? How did you get into politics?
Okay. You see, I have at all time lived in Lagos practicing law. I used to have an office in the Boshere Road before I moved to 25 Ikoyi Road. Now, it's normal to just go on Umrah, every year, if I have the time. So in one of the journey to Mecca, I happened to meet distinguished Senator Aleru, who was the then governor of Kebbi State.
Kebbi State,
For the first time, and how things work. I wanted to humble myself by flying the business class, and then they made me to believe that it was not available.
Okay. The economy class, you mean?
Yeah, yes. So I had to buy first class.
Okay.
And in that first class was myself, Senator Aleru, and then the former governor of Yobe State, who is late now, Senator Ali something, yeah. And he now told me that he's been looking for me, Senator Aleru. I said, yes, I equally have heard so much about you. And he said, yes, but the reason why I'm looking for you is that I want you to come and join politics and help us to develop our state, that we need people like you. So I told him, I said, no, I honestly don't want to join politics at this stage, because at that time, my focus was to become a senior advocate of Nigeria, and I was almost...
clinching it.
Yeah, clinching it, because my friend Ricky Talfa, who happens to be very close to me, and who some judges in Lagos will normally say that we resemble ourselves.
Yeah, you guys look alike.
Exactly, yeah. So, and I went to him and said, look, this is what... No, I didn't... at that time, we were on our way to Mecca. So I told him, I said, okay, he should give me time. When I get back to Nigeria, I will consult and get back to him and say, no, it's not the issue of giving time, because as soon as we go back, politics is going to pick up. You must come and pick your phone to go to House of Representatives. I said, okay, fine. He said, but if you are interested in the Senate too, we will do whatever is humanly possible. I said, no, let me start with the House of Representatives. Yeah. And I said, I'm not even giving you a commitment. So don't go
don't go to the market with that.
Don't go to the market without me. But in the aircraft, again, there were some people who happened to come from my constituency who were his political allies.
Okay.
So as soon as we came down, we wanted to pray. So he called all of them and said, look, as far as I'm concerned, I have found a member House of Representatives for you, and he is not Allah. Whatever you can do to go and make him join politics is your own problem. But I'm telling you, he must come and join us. We need people like him. So I thought I could run away from that. I went back to Lagos and had a meeting with Ricky Talfa. I said, look, this is what they are saying. Ricky Talfa said, well, it's a dicey situation because you are pursuing this SAN. I will have thought that it's better for you to wait until you have it. But again, it will be absurd for you to have SAN and then begin to go and talk about politics again.
Yeah.
So you have to decide. I said, okay, I have decided that I will tell them I wasn't going to do it. The following morning, the emir of my place called me and said that he's so happy that they have discussed with Aleru and that I'm going to come and join politics. I say, Your Royal Highness, I never gave any commitment to that effect. He said, no, it's not the issue of commitment. I have so many people here who are so excited about that. So I think you don't have option. You just have to come and join. And like I have said, I never did any primaries. There was nothing. I was just given the form to fill. Then I became a member.
Oh, now let's go to the judiciary. I'm sure as a lawyer, you had your time of frustration over the lengthy years that a prosecution would take in the courts. Let me ask you what you think should change in the Nigerian judiciary.
Okay, let me tell you again. That's where the area that I keep on asking. But for you to understand where I'm coming from is to ask this question. Yes, Nigeria is an African country, but we have other African countries like Ghana and others that are English speaking. Now, if, for example, cases in Ghana will go smoothly and fastly too in Ghana, what explains the reason for Nigeria incapability or whatever, or how do I put it, to be able to process court cases expeditiously? It's the same lawyers, the same books that we read, the same judges that they have. So something is unique, and I will tell you what happened. When this law came about, the academic as of part of it was mostly developed in the South. And technicalities that existed in Europe became a fashion in the practice of law, as at then. And therefore, every available technicality was used to frustrate a case when a lawyer is not interested in it. Until we got to a stage where Justice West had to decide a matter. I can't remember the case now because my memory is failing me. but I think, it was the case of Umoborio.
Okay, Umoborio.
It was an election petition matter. And there, Justice West said, look, technicalities of whatever description should not be allowed to inhibit the course of justice. So it now gave a variance from which a pragmatic approach to the justice of the matter can be taken. But at the same time, procedurally, again, we became defective. For example, one can file a motion asking that certain things be done that do not necessarily affect the merit of the case. But because it has been filed, it has to be heard. So we now became a court. We now become a system where injunctions of whatever descriptions became the order of the day rather than dealing with the substantive matter. So you can have an injunction restraining somebody from doing this. Then when a ruling is given, then it goes on appeal, then it comes back, and evidence is going to be tendered. Instead of allowing the evidence to be tendered so that the judge will be allowed to have his own discretion as to what weight of evidence to be given to it, again, somebody will file and say that the document is wrongly admitted in evidence and therefore it's going on appeal. So it became very frustrating because procedurally that was allowed. But I think with the enactment of the Administration of Justice law by the National Assembly, that has helped. But because that conduct has stayed so much with the justice system, they still have not been able to free themselves to adjust exactly. But we are beginning to see some improvements at least.
All right, let's come back to the Senate now. Let's talk about some of the things you're doing in the Senate. At some point, you sponsored a bill that made you, let me say, overpopular.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of people saw that bill as a clampdown on social media.
It wasn't. You see, let me tell you, we are a country of two fundamental religions, Islam and Christianity. Happily enough, none of those religions encourages somebody from telling lies. So if I come up with a bill to say whatever you are going to put should be the truth, what have I done wrong? But you see, my happiness is that when I came up with that, there was hue and cry about it. I was called all sorts of names. But I have insisted that what I have done was right. And the Justice of the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, came with a paper presentation that says that no provision of that law has offended any provision of the Constitution. But because of political expedience, people begin to think that, well, it's going to be clamped down on social media. You and me know the damage that social media has done to the psyche of this country now. The level of hatred that are unnecessary. The level of scandalizing people with falsehood, with everything. But luckily enough, again, as we continue to go into it, people began to understand that, oh, this platform can no more be relied upon, you know.
Yeah, for the truth.
Exactly, for the truth. Because they have seen so much falsehood. People were alleged to have died, including our president. Yeah. And I ask my question now. You are media, you are registered, and you have broadcasting commission looking after you to make sure that you live within the confines of the profession. Then wherein lies the wisdom of allowing a platform
to run riots?
To run over. But you see, I don't belong to the class of politicians that believe that telling the public lies, you know, will be an answer.
So let me ask you, as a Kebbi man, what is the Kebbi state of your dream? That Kebbi state, you know, you hope to see in years to come?
In years to come, I'd like to see a Kebbi that investment-wise can outshine the entire country. Because we have the resources, we have the land, and if we have the right contact, and which is very possible, you can turn Kebbi. You can turn Kebbi into one of the most prosperous states in the country. We have the advantage of being a border state with Niger. You understand? So if you look at the resources that are available to that country, the vast land, the human resources, the Kebbi of my dream should be one of the greatest states that we can have in Nigeria.
So lastly, tell me one thing that you know about yourself that a lot of people do not know, but you like to share with them. Okay. If I'm to tell you one thing I know about myself that a lot of people don't know, I'm honestly a very harmless person. Very, very. I don't believe in doing harm to anybody. But, you know, as you grow up and you have some advantage of having one thing or the other, people begin to ascribe certain things to you that are not known to me. I'm a home person. Today, I was taken to German embassy. I have stayed here for over 20-something years. I have not been to that part of Abuja. I'm normally a home person. I don't go out, you know. So it's I'm sure a lot of people do not know that.
Exactly, yes.
Well, thank you very much, distinguished senator, for coming on the program. We have been speaking with distinguished Senator Bala Ibinala. Of course, he's been letting us into his world as a lawyer, as a pilot, and as a senator, most of all. Thank you again for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, viewers, for watching the show. Remember, you can keep up with us by sending your mails to the Sunday interview at tvcnews.tv. We will be waiting to hear from you. Thanks again for watching. I'm Jokeli Jaju. Bye for now.